everyone, welcome to today's live session. Hello. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into numeric data types in Python, one of the most important building blocks in programming. So, whether you are a beginner or brushing up your Python skill, in this class we'll explore integer, floats, complex numbers and boolean with simple examples that you can try right away. So by the end of this session, you'll not only understand how Python handles numbers, but also how to perform mathematical operations, conversions, and even some neat tricks with numeric types. So before starting our class, I want you all, those who are present in the class, to say hi so that I could know you all are active for today's session. Okay, so I hope all of you are actively present in today's session in numeric data types, which is an important building block in programming. So firstly, we'll know deep down what are numeric data types in theory, and then we'll move on to some quiz question and then some code questions to know our understanding better. Okay, so let me tell you, numeric data types are types that represent numbers. So by the name also it is very clear, numeric means numbers. And now it comes to numbers. Numbers are of different types. So Python has three main numeric types. First is integer. So the first one is integer, which are whole number, and the second one is float, which is mostly a decimal number, and the third one is complex, numbers with real and imaginary parts. Okay, so numeric types are immutable, meaning their value cannot change once created. Okay, so now we'll understand deeply what are integers. Okay, I hope all of you are present for today's session. Everyone can say hi so that we can start. So let's start the theory part. So firstly let's understand integers. Okay, so integers are whole numbers which are positive or negative including 0, and Python integers can be, hi Shivmani, Python integers can be arbitrarily large, and it supports arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus, etc. So what if we see a simple example related to integer here so that you can understand more well fully. So let's take some values. This only tells how we work with numeric integers. What are integers? Okay. Okay. So we can see what are integers. Sometimes a positive, negative or zero value also, and are also whole numbers. Okay, so now secondly let's understand floating point numbers, which is float. Okay, so floating point numbers. So floating point numbers are basically numbers with decimal points, and these can be represented in scientific notation also. So these are a simple example of floating point number. This is how floating point number look with a decimal value. And now nextly we'll see complex numbers. So what are complex numbers? So complex numbers are the numbers with real and imaginary part. For example, a plus bi or any part, which are useful in mostly engineering, physics and mathematics. So in mathematics we all have studied complex numbers. So complex number look like this. So complex number look like this. Okay. So I hope you understood what my point was to explain you all these things. Okay, so if you all are ready, then we can move to our quiz section. So if you all are ready, you can say yes in the chat, then we'll move to the quiz section. So are you all ready for the quiz? Okay, so let's start the quiz. So the first question for today is, Python integers have a size limit. You have to answer in yes or no in the chat. Python integers have a size limit. Answer in yes or no in the chat that Python integers have a size limit. Okay, so Shivmani, you are saying yes. So let's see the correct answer. So the correct answer for this is no, because in Python 3, integers can grow as large as the memory allows. So unlike C or Java, there is no fixed size limit for integers in Python. Okay, so we'll move on to the another question. So the next question for today is, does 5 divided by 2 returns an integer? Does 5 divided by 2 returns an integer? Is it correct or not? You have to answer in yes or no. I think you all are not active in today's class. I can't see the messages in the chat. This is very simple and very easy topic. You all should reply. Thus 5 divided by 2 returns an integer. Answer in yes or no in the chat. Okay, so some of you are answering yes. So let's see its output. Let's see its answer. So the correct answer is no, because in Python 3 the division operator always return a float even if the result is whole. Yes, the correct answer is no. Okay, so let's move on to the third question. So the third question is, so the third question is 3 plus 4j is a valid complex number. 3 plus 4j is a valid complex number. You have to answer in yes or no in the chat. See, I have already told these all things in the theory part. So if you have listened the theory nicely, you would have answered this very easily and very quickly. I hope all of you will answer at least this questions, so everyone should answer. 3 plus 4j is a valid complex number or not? You have to answer in yes or no. If you have any doubt, you can just check its type also, so that you will know definitely that it's a complex number or not. Okay, so some of you are answering no and some of you are answering yes. So let's see its correct answer. So the correct answer is yes. It represents imaginary number with j, not I in math. So this is a perfect complex number. Okay, so now let's move on to another question. Float can have rounding errors. Float can have rounding errors. So you have to answer in yes or no in the chat. Float can have rounding errors. So some of you are answering no. Float can have rounding errors. Okay, so let's see its output, means let's see its answer. So the correct answer is yes, because floating point numbers are stored in binary which can't exactly represent some decimals. So float can have rounding errors sometimes. Okay, so now let's move on to another question. So the next question is, you can compare two complex number with greater operator. So the next question for today is, you can compare two complex number with greater operator. You have to answer in yes or no in the chats. The question is, you can compare two complex numbers with the greater operator. What do you think? What will be the answer? Yes or no? Okay, so let's see the answer. So the correct answer is no, because complex number don't have a natural ordering. You can only check equality, equal to, but not less or greater. So do you want more yes or no type quiz, or let's move on to code quiz? Do we should I ask more such questions, or let's move on to our quiz part, code question part? I'm asking you all guys that should we move to our code quiz part, or I should ask some more quiz like this only to you? Okay, so let's start our code part. So we'll start from basic. So tell me what this will print. Okay, so this is very simple. The first one is normal division and the second one is floor division. You only have to tell what this will print. We'll start from the basic, then we'll move on to the difficult part. I think this is very easy for you all to answer. So let's see what output this will give. See, so the normal division answered 3.5 and the floor division rounded the value, so it answered 3. So this was the difference between floor division and normal division. Okay, so now we'll see a simple example to convert float to int. So here we are taking a float value and then we'll convert this to integer. Okay, so we are converting this float value to integer. So I want you all to answer what would be its output. You all can answer in the chat. Okay, so now we'll see its output also. So it rounded the value and in the integer part it gave us 5. Now we'll use div mod. So let's see what output does this will give. Okay, so I want you all to answer its output in the chat. Div mod returns quotient and remainder. So I made this easy for you all to answer. So let's understand floating point precision. Okay, so this is an example of floating point precision. You have to answer its output in the chat. And I'm also giving you a link to join the WhatsApp channel so that you can get the daily updates of CL coding, Python programming, and daily updates for the live class also. I hope those who join our class regularly, they would have definitely joined the group, because in every class I gave the link to join that WhatsApp group. Okay, so here's the link. You can join this WhatsApp channel so that you can get the updates of the class every day, every time. Okay, and now we'll see its output. Okay, so the correct output it gave is this returns false. So this was a simple example of floating point precision. And now we'll move on to another topic, which is complex numbers. Okay, so now this is another example of complex number. You have to answer its output in the chat. There is a complex number and you have to print firstly its real value, then its imaginary value, and then its absolute value. So I hope you all can answer this. This is also a very easy question. Everyone join the WhatsApp channel so that you can get the daily updates. I hope many of you all have already joined. This. I think you all can answer this very nicely. Let's see its output. So the correct answer is, when we find the power, so it gave us 32, and when we find the modulus, means the remainder, it gave us 1. Now moving on to the next thing, which is infinity and none. So, hello. So this is an example of infinity and none means not number. So you have to answer its output in the chat. Here INF represent infinity and NaN represents the undefined numeric values. Okay, so now the data type. So firstly we'll convert to float. We'll convert this integer value to float, and then secondly we'll convert the float value to integer, and then we'll print the complex value. So think and answer, what output does this will give? Okay, so now we'll see its output. See, so firstly it converted the float value, it converted into float value, then in integer, and then in the complex value. Okay, so these were very simple and short example for you all to understand the numeric data types, and I hope all of you have understood. And if you all have any doubt related to numeric data types, so tell me, we'll solve together and we'll move ahead. So if you all like today's class, please tell on which topic should we conduct our next class. And everyone, please join that WhatsApp channel so that you can get the daily updates of the live class. And thank you so much for joining today's live session. I hope all of you understood what numeric data types are. Today we have gone deep dive into numeric data types. And thank you so much for joining today's session on numeric data types in Python. I truly appreciate your attention, your curiosity, your participation throughout the class. And always remember one